So with the Spurs owning the number 14 pick, should they move up and try to get Duke's Maluach?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. You guys are the everydayers. Keep coming here every single day to Locked On Spurs, your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, you know where to go. Go check it out right now. So, what are we talking about today? You've seen your screen if you're watching on YouTube, but if you're not, we're talking about the Spurs, the number 14 pick, and Duke's big man, Khaman Maluach. 7-footer. Spurs need some depth at the big man spot. Should the Spurs make a play to try to move up in the draft to get him, with all signs likely pointing that he'll probably be gone by the number 14 pick? So we're going to be discussing that, get thoughts about Kevin Durant. Yeah, those rumors continue to swirl. Talk about the latest as well as what our guests, yes, plural, have to say about that. And then we're going to just kind of catch them off guard. They have no idea what I'm going to ask them. And you can see in your screen or you're listening right now, the buy-sell segment. I don't know what they don't know. We're going to just give them the questions, buy-sell themed here, see how they react to various concerns, thoughts, or just, opinions about the San Antonio Spurs. Is going to bring in our guest. Oh, but before we do that, hang on. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Yeah, take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, now let's bring in our guest. Let's start off with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Be sure to follow him on X at Sweep the League and on TikTok, Sweep the League Radio. You can also maybe find him at Ross. Maybe you might find him at Ross too. I did, and that was a weird afternoon, right? Because you were walking right past me. I don't think you recognized me.
Well, yeah, I didn't. I mean, I saw like that guy resembles Jeff, and I had to look again. Like, that is Jeff. Yeah, it was one of those Spider-Man moments, I guess, when you're looking at the meme. Yeah. You point at me and I point at you. Similar to that. But yeah, Ross, man. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a nerd. I go there for toys, pretty much. So,
and you know what? I was walking in that direction. I was going towards the toy section. Yeah. You were coming from it. And think about it, I had to do a double take too. I kind of like this, and you saw my reaction. It's like, Rudy, you're like, what the hell? Real embrace. But again, everybody.
Jeff busting me, buying shoes, like one of my things. So I was out there buying shoes at Dick's Sporting Goods. So
exactly. You got the AE, the Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah, I got the tie-dye Edwards, and I ordered the Asia Wilson's, the pink ones that came out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those.
By the way, our other guest, when we bring him in a few minutes, he's a big sneakerhead too. So get his thoughts on your purchases. But yeah, Rudy, he has his show, Sweep the League, on YouTube. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but it's on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube right now, go subscribe to it ASAP. So we got our final guest, Mr. James Pledger, San Antonio Sports Star's very own. Make sure to follow him on X at I Am Pledger. He is host. He helps the Blitz. To us, you help. You got so many shows out there, Jim. You got the Blitz. You got, where I go, you got your extra innings. You're the host of that. So on and so forth. It's a great way to pass your day, listen to sports all day long. Pleasure. You heard Rudy's sneaker purchase. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up, man. I like it. I'm a big fan. Like I wanted the Sabrina ones when they came out.
Mm-hmm. I thought you got them.
No, I never ended up getting those.
Yeah. They were the yellow highlighter ones is one that I got. Those are put away.
Or you can just go to Ross and find them there now. They're pretty much there at a nice discount too. But again, everybody, he is James Pledger again with San Antonio Sports Star. His show, Extra Innings, a great show. He'll brag about that in just a few minutes.
Also shops the toy department.
Yo, you know what? I got a text one time from Rudy while he was at Ross. He was like, "Have you been at Ross yet?" And they had a bunch of Dragon Ball Z figures playing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you noticed that.
Sneaky finds there. Sneaky finds at Ross.
Sneaky. I go there ready for like workout gear because they got like cheap workout gear, especially the Dwayne Johnson under the Project Rock line. I love that line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a great line. So Rudy, that's why I was really there to go with some workout gear. But guys, thank y'all for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. We got a lot to dive into. Let's start that off right now. So recently, a report surfaced that apparently the Spurs have Duke's Khaman Maluach. I'm pronouncing that right, President, right? Maluach?
I'll have to hear him say his own name.
Yeah.
I've known him as Caleb Malak. So
well, we'll go with that. Khaman Malak. Yeah.
It could be Maluach. Like I have yet to hear. It's kind of like Tua Tagovailoa. It's like I never knew how to say his name, and I've heard it pronounced a whole bunch of different ways. So I waited for him to say how to pronounce his name, and I was like, I'm going with that one. It's kind of like Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's like once you hear them pronounce their own name, that's the version you go with.
Well, the reason I asked Pledger because he's on the Blitz or just on the radio there. He's always correcting his colleagues. That's not how you pronounce it. That's not how you pronounce it.
That's
all right. That's not right. That's how you do it.
I'm that guy.
I'm just going to say the Duke big man from this point on. Come on. I think you guys say your friend Khaman. But anyway, so a report surfaced recently, gentlemen, that the Spurs have him on their radar, excuse me. But the issue here is he'll likely not be at number 14. If the Spurs again hold on to that pick and have him circled on their draft board here. Rudy, I'm going to start with you. He fits all the checks, right? I mean, the boxes, big man, athletic, over 7 foot, brings the depth to that big man department that the Spurs desperately need. Should the Spurs try to move up to get him? Rudy, go ahead, take it away.
Well, knowing that people say he's not going to be there at 14 right now. I mean, he can go as high as number 4 to Charlotte, knowing that they need a big man there. But it's between him and Derek Queen. I mean, those are the two guys you're looking at in the lottery when you're a big man. But Molok not being there at 14, I'm going to say it's still a coin toss. He could be, because if you look at teams after the 4th pick, you're looking at guys like the Jazz, Walker Kessler's there.
Yeah.
I don't think the Wizards would take him at 6. Pelicans. They're looking at other sets on other positions in the draft there. So the possibility of him dropping to 14 is there, because the only team I look at maybe is at 12 and maybe 13, which is Atlanta and the Chicago Bulls that could pop him before the Spurs. But I think if you have the opportunity, if he falls into that 10, 11 range, why not call up, just try to switch 10 and 14, add a second round pick in there. You might be able to get him, but definitely worth a player worth trading up for. Jakob Poeltl, remember the guys Spurs there. He fits the perfect, Jakob Poeltl role. But think of this as a Tyson Chandler type of move, not the defensive anger. I mean, he's shooting the ball well in his workouts right now. It's really worth making a move just a few spots up.
What about you, James? What do you think? Is he worth a move up to get him if the Spurs definitely do have him on their draft board?
I mean, I really have been a big proponent of him throughout the season, but you talk about the potential of where he can go as high as 4, as Rudy said, with Charlotte, we've heard, and you start looking at teams like Brooklyn. What happens if they move Nick Claxton? Then he could be a potential pick at 8, and there's so many. We've heard Walker Kessler's name in trade conversations this offseason when it comes to Utah and them really trying to, it looks like, really stock up that war chest to kind of rebuild more than anything when you talk about Collins and Kessler and Sexton and Lauri Markkanen's name, and basically their entire team is on the trade block, it feels like, this offseason as they get ready to go into the year, because it feels like they're ready to kind of hit reset and they're not specifically tied to anyone. So could Utah take them at 5? The Washington just took Sarr, but Sarr is also one of those unicorn type players, not to the same level as Wemby, but like Chet Wemby, who can play outside in and has a different type of skill set. So a guy like a Molok would heavily benefit. Maybe you get that double big that we've seen kind of really take shape in the NBA postseason this year, whether it's the Rockets with Şengün and Adams or Oklahoma City with Holmgren and Hartenstein or Anunoby and Mitchell. Like, we've seen a bunch of teams start to use these two big approaches. And it's really been effective for a lot of teams, especially the smaller teams that everybody wanted to copy Golden State in that lineup of death for so long. The problem is You can only replicate that because you had two of the best shooters in the entire universe on one team with an initiating big that could run the floor. Like there are a few teams that could pull off what Golden State was able to pull off with that lineup of depth that they had. And so now, a lot like the NFL in the run game, like everything was pass it, spread it out. We're starting to see a resurgence of the run game in the NFL that looked like it left for a few years there. With the NBA, we're starting to see a resurgence of the importance of the big man and how teams utilize them.
Yeah. Rudy, I'm going to switch back to you here. You know, if the Spurs were to go chase him, it would sound like they want to do the Twin Tower thing again, like they had back in the day with Robinson and Duncan. Wemby and the big man out of Duke here. You got 2 7-footers playing together. Maybe. We don't know how that will spread out. But defensively, this team will be kind of one of the better interior defensive team with him and Wemby. You got he's mobile. He's 7'2". Ability to just pick and roll. So he has all that. Do you think that like a modern day Twin Tower will work in the NBA with a young kid, just a kid still? And then Wemby, because it feels like to me, he's kind of a project light, maybe.
I think the word project is kind of being thrown a little bit here. The kid is a project, but I mean, he's a lot more advanced than people are giving him credit for. You're talking about a guy who measures 9'8" standing, which is, I think, an inch higher than Wemby right now. Oh, wow. So you're talking about a dominant Twin Tower on the defensive side, but again, getting a guy like Molok out of Duke here for the Spurs, what does that do? It takes Wemby away from the position everybody wants him in, and that's in the post. He's able to do a lot more pick and roll. It begins to get that lob threat with Molok. So imagine Wemby coming off of a pick and roll, getting the pass from De'Aaron Fox or Stephon Castle. The other big comes up to grab him, or defend him. He's got Molok on the bottom, down the post area for a lob. So there's so many good things with Molok that you may think, well, he's a project, but no, if he goes to a Washington team, if he goes to a Utah team, that's more of a project right there. But if he goes to a team with veterans that he's got already with De'Aaron Fox and say Harrison Barnes stays on the team as well, a player like Wemby, it becomes a lot easier for a player like Molok to come in and be a lot more effective.
But James, wouldn't Molok, him playing in the post actually benefit Wemby, who seems he doesn't want to play in the post? He wants to play in the perimeter, face-up game and everything. It would kind of look like, okay, Wemby would be like, all right, we got our post guy. We're good. Let me do my thing. Wouldn't he kind of fit that, cubby hole there?
Yeah, but you gotta when they talk about his projection is offensively. There's a lot of room for growth for a guy that's very new to the sport of basketball. So especially picking up an NBA offense, there will be a big learning curve for someone like him. So that's where the curve is on him. So you add him, but there will, and this is what we keep talking about with this team. It's young, it's learning. You're just adding another piece that is very young, very new to the game, and extremely raw in terms of his abilities and how he would grow into the NBA game, NBA system. So yes, I like him. He's a really cool player. Having to rely on him in what it sounds like what you're depicting, almost a starting sense, I don't know if that's the best way to go for the San Antonio Spurs moving forward, because if you want to jump into playoff contention, if you want to start challenging in the Western Conference as soon as next year, I don't know that you can do it with someone as raw as he's going to be coming in.
Yeah. All right. He is James Pledger. He is Rudy Campos. When we get back, we're going to continue our chat about Molok out of Duke. Should the Spurs move up to go get him? Then get their thoughts on the Kevin Durant news that are just swirling about your silver and black. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We're going to get their takes in just a few seconds. Hey, I want to talk about Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, hey, where did all my money go? Between dining and out and online shopping and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. and you just, stop managing your money and you start building wealth. Look, they got easy collaboration, managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can even track shared accounts, personal accounts, set goals, stay on the same page without the stress. All in one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check finances, track spending, even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. By the way, didn't come with surprising insights. When you start using Monarch Money, you can realize just how much spending on food, for example, you have done, and now you can budget smarter and save more. That's why you got to go to monarchmoney.com. Again, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That'll get you 50% off your first year. Again, monarchmoney.com. LOCKEDONNBA is the code, half off your first year.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from San Antonio Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Rudy Campos of Sweep the League, James Pledger of San Antonio Sports Star. If you're watching on YouTube, you see their handles are right there. Look at James giving you an assist there. He says, follow him right there. Rudy, you can follow him on TikTok. Look at Rudy Pledger. He's on TikTok now, Mr. Fancy Pants over here. Sweep the League Radio. Rudy, you always got to one-up us here, don't you? You got to one-up us here all the time.
Not one-upping anybody.
I'm on TikTok, and I am also – that's why my handle is universal, is I am Pledger on every social media platform.
As Pledger pops his collar up and sits back in his chair and just flaunts that he was ahead of the curve. By the way, it's a shame, Pledger, that Jack Thompson couldn't make it here because he's all about Molok, isn't he, man? He wants that guy there. So shout out Jack Thompson. Yeah.
I see everything that people see about him that make him so enticing.
Yeah,
but I also understand that people want to start winning.
Yeah.
And those two things may not equal the same thing, at least immediately or in the near future.
Yeah. You see, it's funny. I'm listening to you guys. I hear Pledger, you're kind of leaning towards, he kind of is a project. Rudy, you're kind of on the line like, well, he is, but it's not as bad. Why do you have that sense, Rudy, that it's not going to be that much of a learning curve for Molok? It's just because he has experience. I think he's played on the Sudan team, the Olympics. So he's played kind of professional, but why do you lean that he may not be that much of a project?
Well, you got to remember what I did say is it depending on where he goes is more of a project, because if he goes to a team like I mentioned, Utah, Washington, somewhere there where they're not looking to win right away. I mean, they're not really going to be in any type of contention right now. That's more of a project. They're going to really see where he's going to fit on that team. If you go to an established team, let's take the Spurs out of it. Say he goes to a Golden State where they desperately need a big man. He absolutely adds a lot more to a team like that, team that's already contending, the team that can bring him along a little bit quicker than some of these other teams. And again, what Spurs fans don't realize and they don't remember is that they were only 5 games back from making the play-in. And this is, with De'Aaron Fox, half the season of Fox, if even that, with, the San Antonio Spurs. So, they want to win right away. And, adding Molok, is it going to make them win right away? No, it adds depth to what they've already have. But again, I think the transition to the NBA is a little bit easier for him with the Spurs than it is for a team that's pure just lottery, for the next couple of years.
Absolutely. Now, Rudy, I'll stick with you. You mentioned other names that are on the draft board, at least in your opinion, that the Spurs should take if they want to go and address the big man on there. You mentioned Queen. Why Queen?
Well, Derek Queen is a guy that, he's your prototypical all-around type of center right now. And, the thing with Derek Queen, he had a really hot, year to the season over at Maryland. And I liked everything about his game. He's got a good playmaking, interior score, rebounding. He's a really good finisher. I think his height for a big man is going to be the hugest question mark for me. I just think it's more of the playmaking ability that Derek Queen comes in and provides. I'm going to say right now, I don't have him as high as a lot of people do on their draft boards. A lot of people have him coming off as the first big man. I actually think he's probably the second, possibly the third big man. One guy I will mention out of here is Thomas Sorber out of Georgetown. He's a guy that I really, really like. He's got a really good basketball IQ, can really fit with San Antonio right next to Victor when they're playing. But Derek Queen for me is the first guy that a lot of people come off the board, mainly because of the run that he had this year at Maryland. But again, he's very undersized for me at that center position.
Hey, Pleasure, I was going to ask you this question here. The number 14 pick, has value. It's a first-round pick, but we've seen the Spurs kind of trade away like their second first round, like last season, early Minnesota deal on that. Where do you stand with that with the Spurs with 14? Should they just kind of make a deal or stick and pick?
I mean, this team, they've got free agent dollars to spend. They've got the assets to be able to trade to bring on contracts. I mean, you can very much, if you know you're not getting a Molok or a Murray Boyles or a Derek Queen at 14 to grow with this young core, you can go out and get yourself a veteran of sorts, whether that's a Naz Reid or a Brooks Lopez or whoever it may be in free agency, because you're extending a small portion of that to De'Aaron Fox at some point this offseason. But you're still going to have money. You're still going to have assets. You could potentially trade 14 and a few other things for Walker Kessler. We talked about his availability. Like those are deals that the Spurs can make. You've heard everyone left of Zion is available on the Pelicans. You could go after Yves Missy or, a Herb Jones or a Trey Murphy down in New Orleans, Cam Johnson up in Brooklyn. There are a bunch of possibilities for them to fill the other holes on their roster to where they don't feel pigeonholed at picking at 14. As a matter of fact, they can use 14 to get some of this established NBA talent into the building. And the great thing about that is the players they would be bringing on in that instance, everybody I brought up, it's not like bringing in a Durant or bringing in a Giannis or bringing in another big name star, Devin Booker. Like those guys, you have to wonder about. You've already got two guys that are going to be your lead dogs in Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. Castle, we assume, is going to be the third of that. You only have one ball, so you can have so many ball-dominant people on your team, like the teams in the NBA Finals that we're seeing right now. Everybody knows their role, embraces and accepts what that role is, whether that's Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, or Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein. There are the guys that know SGA's the dude, he's the motor, he's going to make this thing go, and everyone else is 3-and-D or a defensive stopper down low or a pick and roll guy. Like they know their fit within the offense. And I think a lot of the times with the Spurs, where you saw the disjointedness with this team was it doesn't feel like everybody knows what their role is supposed to be. And some people are actually trying to insert themselves into that. Well, I'm the best player on this team role. Is the second Wemby walked through that door, you are no longer the best person on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. James, would you read ahead of my buy-sell notes? Because that's kind of a question I got for you in a bit. So.
I did not. I have no idea what you're coming at me with.
Hey, Rudy here. It feels to me, and look, by the way, I looked at some of his stats, Malak's stats, 8.6 points last year, 6.6 rebounds, not, eye-popping, but again, you still got the high, the mobility, the raw talent is there. And I get why he's projected to go high. That being said, and a pleasure, you brought up some names already, but Rudy, I just feel that the Spurs team is better off looking for the big man in free agency. I think that's where they should go. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be your first option as the Spurs is go after a big man free agency. You've even got a guy like Steven Adams is going to be available who would definitely help right away with San Antonio. So you can go get a project pick at 14, maybe trade from 14 down, get back into the first round later on, save you some bucks there, maybe grab a couple of assets. But guys like Steven Adams, Lopez, who was mentioned, you've even got guys, and I'm glad Pledge mentioned Walker Kessler because, again, you got a guy who's still on a rookie contract who's going to be able to be affordable later on if you're able to trade for him. Utah's not looking to win. They're looking to just get some assets right now. They would probably take, some seconds, a first, and maybe just a guy back in return just to make the money work right now. So, I mean, they're in the AJ, state of mind right now who's going to be available next year. But yeah, I mean, right now, Steven Adams is the one guy I look at in free agency, plus other guys just at this point, 14 is that pick where You either use it to trade up if
Mhm.
you pick in the draft, in the first round, like it's a 10, 11, 12, or you just trade it back down if there's
Yeah.
nobody there you want. Just grab a couple of assets and then hit free agency.
Yeah,
Or you do what the Spurs used to do back in the day, which is draft and stash.
draft and stash. Oh,
Who
my
would
God,
you
I remember
stash? Because the only guy I talk about on Locked On is Hugo Gonzalez, and I'm like, man, I'd like to see him here, but again, he's a draft and stash at least for a
Yep.
couple more years. But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if there's anybody else out there you would definitely want to do a draft and stash with.
Yeah.
I mean, you think Berninger's coming over immediately?
Oh, I would say he's still about 2 or 3 years out. But I mean, he's
That's a big man that could potentially be a top 15 pick.
easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
I think if I'm at his camp, I wait till I'm already in that out of this loaded draft and go to where he's like a top 5 pick, get the more money there. Hey, Rudy,
Mhm.
would you move number 14 for James Pledger if he's high in your board?
I'd give up 2-14. I'd even consider moving Wemby if I was trying to get Pledger. So I'd
Immediately
give him love
fired.
check. Hey,
Ain't
you know what?
nothing worth Wemby.
Hey, if Nico still has a job, I can still have a job.
Here's the thing. With Wemby, not only do you have a generational talent, but you possibly have a Shaolin monk by the time all's said and done too.
Yeah, I know. I actually thought that was AI. I thought somebody just AI. Oh, that's real. He literally shaved his hair off, and it's going to
Do we not see what's going on? The new Mortal Kombat movie's coming out. So I mean, the possibilities of Wemby being in Mortal Kombat Part 2 now.
I thought you were saying he entered his Britney Spears era and he is shaving his head.
It's a little too early for that.
He is Rudy Campos.
She did attack him before the draft,
she did.
remember?
Yeah, she did.
Yes, she did.
He is Rudy Campos. He is James Pledger. Make sure to follow Rudy on X at Sweep the League. Pledger is on everywhere at I Am Pledger. Hey, so what are your thoughts about what the Spurs should do with 14? Should they try to move up to get the Duke big man, Maluach? What are your thoughts? Seems to check all the boxes, right? We'll see what you think. Again, you see their handles on their screen. Leave them a message. You leave me a message. Or go to Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Leave it a comment on your thoughts and so much more. We'll get back. We're going to get all our comments and thoughts about those Kevin Durant trade rumors. So once again, I know everybody's bored of it, but we got to talk about it. Some new stuff had popped up. And then surprise buy sell questions for the panel. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, I want to talk to you about Dash Pass. NBA fans, you know what time it is? Playoff season. That means big performances and even bigger rewards. DoorDash is bringing the heat with a slam dunk deal for Dash Pass members during the 2025 NBA playoffs. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50 or more points in a playoff game, Dash Pass members can score a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the very next day. Just place an order of $20 or more, use code Wingstop50 at checkout, and that combo is yours. Crispy, delicious, totally free. Offered valid noon until midnight the next day after the game. Terms apply. Hey, so what is your go-to food? You have a superstition, you have your wings, go to use Dash Pass right now. By the way, you ever looked at those delivery fees and thoughts? There's got to be a better way. With Dash Pass, I should say, you get $0 delivery fees on exclusive perks like this one. And, think about how much you can save over a season. Here's a play. Sign up for Dash Pass to unlock this and more exclusive deals all season long. When any player scores 50-plus in a playoff game, Dash Pass members can grab a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the very next day with a $20 or more order and code Wingstop50. That's Dash Pass. Your door to more savings, more flavors, the more ways to win. Terms apply.
I am Megatron. Do not fail me and subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Rudy Campos, who did not trade up to get Pledger during the break. Sorry, Pledger. Sorry.
Yeah. I'll just have to wait in the green room like Aaron Rodgers for a while.
Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. He is on X at Sweep the League. His show is on YouTube, Sweep the League. More on that in a bit. Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star at SA Sports Star. I am Pledger. He's going to talk about the slew of shows they got for you guys right now, because y'all going to need that hefty dose. What is it, Pledger? You got NBA draft, I mean, football talk
Free agency
up a bit. Yeah. NHL. I mean, you guys are
Texans about to sign Nick Chubb.
I was going to ask, are you going to get a jersey, Nick Chubb jersey?
All right, guys. Let's talk about some KD Spurs rumors. Now, these things are they seem to not go away. You know, Rudy, you and I talked about this last week. You know, is this a case where there's smoke, there's fire? Pledge, I'm going to get your thoughts first here. Is this a case of where there's smoke, there's fire with KD Spurs rumors?
Absolutely. I mean, I brought this up during the beginning part of the season, how he could be a piece that the Spurs should effectively try and go after in trade talks with their assets. And, you know, it's only manifesting itself with him seemingly want to be here, and B, the Spurs need, because look, while Giannis and others command the ball, Kevin Durant seamlessly fits into the flow of an offense. So there's not this, you know, working to get him the ball. He finds his shots within the rhythm of the offense a lot of the times. He is a seamless fit, which is why it worked with Golden State with him, because he can seamlessly fit in amongst a bunch of ball dominant players and still somehow get his within the flow of the offense. And I think he could do the same in San Antonio. Look, the dude averaged over 26 points a game last week, shot 43% from behind the arc. Like, do you think the Spurs can't use that as much as we've been saying, you know, either Wemby needs to step up and be more aggressive on offense, or we need a secondary scorer to handle that load, to be a go-to guy at the end of games, the way De'Aaron Fox kind of became during his short time on the floor. Like, we need something like that, and we especially need someone who is as marksman as he is from behind the three-point line. This is a team that absolutely just at times was abysmal from three-point land. And, you know, Harrison Barnes is your best three-point shooter on this team for most of the season. Mm-hmm. That can't be the case night in and night out. You've got to get more consistency from back there, where at least people are shooting above 36 to 38% at a minimum. Yeah. And at times this team went through too many long droughts of bad three-point shooting that they just could not break it, because this team isn't like Devin Vassell is not a three-point shooter. Keldon Johnson's not a three-point shooter. Like, they don't have real three-point threats.
Yeah, snipers. Yeah, they definitely don't have snipers on the roster right now. I mean, you mentioned Barnes. I mean, hell, Wemby is up there too. You know, the more is connecting on threes. I mean, that's how bad it is in San Antonio. Rudy, you know, obviously the Spurs and Kevin Durant, they seem to be linked a lot. But do you think other teams out there could, you know, make a play for Kevin Durant as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as much as the Spurs are number one on every big free agents list right now, according to media guys out there, it's Spurs this, Spurs that. But don't forget that there are 28 other teams out there that are vying for these guys as well. One team I mentioned last week on Locked On, and again, I'll mention it again, keep an eye on a team like Denver. Denver has a lot of assets when it comes to youth. Michael Porter Jr. is the name being thrown around. Phoenix would love to get Michael Porter Jr. He's only got a couple years left on that deal right there. They can get a lot of young assets. Might even get a Christian Brown, if we're not even mistaken on that. Denver only has about 3 first-round picks in the next few drafts, so they can package one of those up, get a Kevin Durant. Then you're looking at Jamal Murray, Jokic, Durant, and Aaron Gordon. That's enough to put Denver back into the contender spot that they're looking to get back into. So definitely a team like Denver is another one. Of course, Houston is obviously being talked about all the time. But the one team I've got circled 100% on all of my lists and everything is those damn Denver Nuggets, man. Watch out for them. They could play a part in this Kevin Durant deal somewhere.
All right, and what a good segue here to get into the buy-sell surprise questions. Yes, these guys have no idea what to ask right now. So, keeping it the Kevin Durant theme, Pleasure, buy, sell, Kevin Durant will be in Spurs colors next season.
He's gonna put it on layaway.
I'm gonna sell that one.
Okay.
As much as I do believe they are interested, I don't know if they're willing to go the price like maybe a Houston is willing to go to make sure that they acquire someone like Kevin Durant. Having Phoenix's own picks is also very enticing to Phoenix. So I'm going to sell it. I think they make moves this offseason. I think they are more in those people that fill roles category that I was talking about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
I think they've got the guys that they want to build, or they've got their foundation. They've got Wemby. They've got Fox. That was their big move this past off at the trade deadline. And I think they think Castle's going to be the third in that kind of trio for the new big three. Now you have to start filling in those pieces around him to construct a team.
Yeah. Rudy, buy, sell. Giannis will be in the Spurs colors next season.
Oh God, I sold that a long time ago, man. He is not going to be in the Spurs system right now. I mean, the obvious thing is coming out that he wants to stay in Milwaukee. Totally understand, why. Face of the franchise, loves Milwaukee, loves the Bucks. But if he's not going to be in Milwaukee, you've got plenty of other teams, and he wants to stay in the East Coast. He's not, looking at coming to the West Coast and dealing with a lot of the teams here. But he's looking at a team like Toronto. I mentioned New York Knicks with OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson going back to Milwaukee. That helps the Bucks right away. So I think if he leaves Milwaukee, it's going to be an Eastern Conference team. I completely sell the fact that he'll be in silver and black next year.
Pleasure. Buy, sell. Devin Vassell will not finish next season as a San Antonio Spur.
Bye.
All right.
I'm going all in.
Why you got that?
There's just little underlying things. More so it's his fit. And while Keldon Johnson seemed to adapt to his role coming off the bench as being that guy, I don't know if Devin Vassell has truly adapted to a role of being like the third, fourth guy in the starting unit. And I think personally he should come off the bench. He should be in that second unit for the Spurs. But I don't, that's when he thrives, is when everyone else is hurt and out. And so to me, I also look at the way the Spurs handled their business. I mean, you look around this offseason or doing any time during the offseason, right? And I understand people have homes and don't spend 100% of their time in San Antonio and have family in different areas. But you look at this offseason, Castle gets his award. You see Champagne there. You see Keldon Johnson there. You see Wemby there. You see, a lot of the team is around during the offseason here in San Antonio. Usually Devin Vassell's not. And I wonder about, the dynamic of the family that's built here, atmosphere, and I have no doubt that the team loves Devin and their family as you can be with a basketball team, but a lot of this team seems to take it even deeper than just on the court in practice. Like, it feels a lot more, and it's just I see very little of Devin as I do everyone else around San Antonio in the offseason.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I think Devin needs to be on that bench if he's going to stick in San Antonio for the long term. I mean, that bench would be potent, and it does fit him well. Keldon and Devin leading that second unit, that would be a nice 1-2 punch.
But with Devin, it feels like the same thing with Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul, at some point where, he's got to come out of the starting lineup. Like, you let him lead the second unit. Stephon Castle needs to be starting. His fit with Wemby is really good. Like, they play well off of one another. Castle doesn't need the ball. He can play through the offense instead of the offense playing through him. And that's really important, especially when De'Aaron Fox was brought in too. And it just never happened. And I think it's the same thing with Devin Vassell. It's like, I think Devin Vassell could really benefit from being that green light guy off the bench, the way Keldon Johnson is. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I don't know if it's his ego or if it's them promising him that he's a starter or whatever it may be to kind of help his headspace. Mm-hmm. But I think he would be better in this situation on the San Antonio Spurs. What's best for the Spurs off the bench. but for some reason, they seem unwilling to do that. And remember, at the beginning of the year, he was coming off the bench, coming back off that injury, and the offense and the team looked really good in that portion of the season. Then they forced him back into the starting lineup, moved Castle to the bench, and everything just kind of felt disjointed and out of sync ever since.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is a good one for you, Mr. Campos here.
Oh,
Buy or sell if the Spurs do select Dylan Harper, that Harper will have a better rookie season than Castle.
Ooh.
God, man. Why do you give me the great ones? So,
were you the same guy who texted me like, why does Casey get to have all the fun?
Oh, yeah.
Here's some fun for you.
Damn you, Casey Vieira. You're doing this to me now. Okay, so better rookie season than Stephon Castle.
Yeah, if the Spurs do select them, right?
Okay. I would say, go ahead.
Can I
just chomping at the bit?
No. I want, for Rudy's sake, I want like parlance of better rookie season. Does he have to be a rookie of the year, or can he have a better season and still not be the rookie of the year?
There you go. Oh, you're getting a double whammy there, Campos.
Okay. I will say this. Dylan Harper, drafted by the Spurs at number 2. I'm going to go out and say that you will probably end up seeing a three-peat on Rookie of the Year. And that's how much I believe in Dylan Harper.
Because Flag's not going to get a lot of
So
work.
the thing with Flag is that, again, he's going to Dallas, but he's not going to be the focal point in Dallas. I know Kyrie's out, but you've still got Anthony Davis. Cooper Flag is going to be he's going to get his shots. He's going to get his points. But, again, he fits best as a number 2 guy, but he's still transitioning to the NBA. Same thing with Harper. The difference is Dylan Harper has a dad. Who the hell is his dad? Ron Harper? One of the best two-way players we've ever seen in the league. So, again, Harper is ready NBA right now compared to Flag, compared to Ace Bailey and Edgecombe, all these other guys. They still got to high their ceiling. But Harper right now comes into the league. He's already putting up NBA numbers. Let's put it this way. He's got an NBA background with his dad. He's already knows the game. He knows ins and outs of everything. So I say he's got an equal, if not better, opportunity than having a better rookie year than Stephon Castle. But again, I think he comes out as Rookie of the Year, barring any injury. Rookie of the Year with the Spurs. Probably, I'm going to say, again, don't kill me on this, probably will be 3B to Castle's 3A when it comes to being on the team. De'Aaron Fox, Wemby are going to be 1 and 2. But I think what happens is if Wemby doesn't stay healthy, you see a little bit of an emergence of Dylan Harper on that backcourt. So that's my thing. I think he does have I think he has an equal or better rookie season than Stephon Castle.
Pleasure. I want to hear your take on Dylan Harper and should the Spurs select him. Are you sold on this kid? Are you good with him?
I like him. I feel like he can very easily transition into the NBA a lot like Rudy. I do think Cooper Flag will also transition a lot easier than he thinks. He'll be a number 2. He won't be asked to be the savior as he would in like Washington or Utah or something like that. So he will have a much easier transition. I do think Cooper Flag will probably win the Rookie of the Year, but I think especially because Harper will likely be coming off the bench, at least for the good chunk of his rookie season, which I think will also inhibit his chances at Rookie of the Year. I do think he has a chance to have better impact than did Stephon Castle his rookie year. And impact, I mean, being one of those league guys on that second unit to kind of calm things and also to be that extra scoring threat when you do sit Fox and Castle and Wemby. Like having the depth that we're seeing throughout the playoffs that allow these other teams to be as effective as they've been. And that's kind of one of the reasons I think we're starting to see the death of the super team is because these taxes and aprons that they're incurring make it so prohibitive to build an actual team that whether it's minutes or injury or fatigue, it just wears a team down because they have no depth because they've invested so heavily in 3 players to carry that team to promise.
Absolutely. All right, now this is a buy-sell question for either of you guys. Y'all, whoever wants to dive in, dive in. Buy or sell Mitch Johnson, NBA rookie head coach, officially now, will guide this team to 50 wins.
Ooh.
Jesus.
And this is without knowing any moves.
Yeah.
Any moves, right? As of this recording.
So I have to this is the team we're rolling with, or am I projecting the moves? That
I guess
they
the only one you can project is Dylan Harper gets added. We'll have that for
Okay.
fun. Dylan Harper's added, yeah.
It's still not a guarantee, but okay, we'll do that.
Remember, as of this recording, Wemby and Fox, they're fine. They're definitely recovered from their injuries. So
50 wins, I'm gonna sell on 50 wins.
how close do you think they get then? How close do you think they get?
If I'm predicting this team right now, no moves made other than Harper. I got them probably
Wemby and Fox. They're healthy.
No, I'm saying I have them right around that 44. Right.
Yeah, I was going to say 44 too. That's a really good number, Rudy, because they're adding these players, but also remember the rest of the West is also stacked and also, getting pieces added to their teams. And we don't know what the future landscape of the league is going to look like. While we assume Giannis is staying put, could Houston added Kevin Durant. How does that change what they were? And they were the second seed in the West. How do you atone for what Golden State may try and do as they try and, hold that championship window open for themselves? We just don't know what the rest of and the West is just so low. Rudy mentioned, what if Kevin Durant goes to Denver? It's just. It's a brutal beatdown to get through the West, and this team has had very little time together to actually be a team outside, on the court together, playing actual basketball.
Yeah.
And I do think there's going to be a learning process with that. And if you only add Harper and that's your only add, that's a tall task to ask them to take that big of a leap without solidifying any of the ancillary problems that we've addressed today.
Absolutely. He is James Pledger with San Antonio Sports Star. That other guy, he is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League, and apparently of Ross too. That's right, I ran into her yesterday. Guys, again, we appreciate y'all stopping by here for this roundtable discussion, all things silver and black. From the number 14 to the Duke big man to some buy-sell questions. Kevin Durant, you guys did it all. Rudy, I'm going to start with you. Brag to us about Sweep the League.
Yeah, so everybody knows that we were doing, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Now it's kind of in the air. We're doing shows Monday through Friday from either 6 p.m., so it could be 9 o'clock, doesn't matter. All you got to do is go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification button. So when we go live, you are notified. Also, as mentioned, at Sweep the League on TikTok, at Sweep the League Radio. We're going live on there as well. And, we talk about everything, everywhere from how great the Houston Texans are going to be coming up this season, because I think I've got my hopes from them, all the way to your NBA Finals. And it's, of course, myself, Coach Gio, Derek Irvin, former NBA player. We're just talking everything sports, man. Absolutely.
By the way, when are you going to have your James Pledger introductory conference that you traded for him? When are you going to have that? I'll see.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and break the news now. We attempted to trade for Pledger, but they wanted some burnt bean barbecue, and I can't get through that line. So the deal's been killed, and it's off the table. So damn you, burnt bean. I'm going to talk to them out there. They ruined this deal.
Pledger, that sucks, man. Pledger, by the way, are you still riding the Lori Marketing to San Antonio train, or that train passed?
Who's not riding that train?
Man, look, even when the wheels fall off that train, I'm going to be rolling that thing through the middle of downtown, just tearing up the ground on my way. Yes, hey, Lori Marketing to San Antonio.
You're helping Project Marvel get a head start on the construction of the streets and just dragging that thing, tearing.
You want 50 wins? Laurie Markkinen adds, it gets them really close to 50. I mean, that's pretty damn obvious there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Pledger. We need to know about the Star, man. You guys got a busy slate, but you got a lot of shows to fill the void. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, lots of stuff. Of course, we're talking a lot of this Spurs stuff. It's so vastly different. Because even though the Spurs are still very tight-lipped and how they run things, it is just such a breath of fresh air to have them involved in so many rumors across the league. Like, this is very unspurs-like, and I don't think Spurs fans know how to handle all the attention that they are getting from around the league and everything that they're being connected and tied to. It's like Charlie Day on the board with the string just
going like this.
That is the Spurs' potential all season. It all starts with the draft coming up here, and then free agency gets kicking right after that. And I think that's going to be very big as well. And let's not forget, trades can be made at any point in the offseason, not just during the draft, not just during free agency, but at any point, this team could do something that would bolster and change what we think their fortunes are of this upcoming season. So we're talking about that. We got NFL mandatory mini camps starting this week. Like Rudy said, Texans signing Chubb, the new offensive coordinator, and what he's bringing. And it's just so much going on right now. U.S. Open's coming up, which is a really fun time for me. Like, we're talking about it all. It starts early in the morning with Rob and AJ with the morning huddle. Then, of course, you got the Blitz, which I produce from 2 to 6 with Jason and Joe. And then, of course, I wrap up your day with Extra Innings with Pledge from 6 to 7 every night. You can catch us at 941 FM, online, sasportstar.com, where you can listen live, or you can watch us just like you are here on YouTube. We stream all of our shows live. Just search SA Sports Star on YouTube. Go ahead, like, subscribe, smash that notification, let you know when we go live.
Hey, James, did you see UFC this weekend?
I did.
I think
which
Kayla
one?
Harrison, I think Kayla Harrison could take you, like, outbench you, everything.
Oh, absolutely. She would destroy me.
Campos, Rudy, did you see that girl, Kayla Harrison? How jacked she was.
I did not. I don't really watch much UFC, man.
That's my second.
Put it this
way. And then Nunez coming out of retirement to take her on. Like,
Rudy, did you hear Nunez coming out of retirement?
I did see that. Yeah. I'm back in the Royce Gracie days and Dan the Beast Severn days. So I'm way back when, kicking in the midsection was absolutely legal. That was the UFC for me, actually.
Yeah. Well, when you get a chance, go look at who fought yesterday. Look at the co-main event. Kayla Harris is the new champion. I mean, you think Pledger is ripped and around big obese? No. She is.
She's yoked up.
Just look at this. You guys work out, and then everybody looking at YouTube now, I feel like Avery Johnson, because you guys are like towering over me in this video right here. Like Duncan and Robinson. I can't lower my camera anymore. I'm like, geez, man, I need to. I'm not that short either. For real, I'm not that short.
Let's say we put them at the little kids' table at Thanksgiving. Go sit with the kids. Go sit at the kids' table there.
Oh, that meme's gonna be good hidden on Twitter. That's for damn sure.
It is, gentlemen. Thank y'all for taking time out of your busy schedule once again to come on here on Locked On Spurs. And again, we always appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. And everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. Second listen, check out Locked On NBA. Host Rafael Barlow reacts to all of the interviews, workouts, etc., leading up to the NBA draft. Find NBA Big Board on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black as the offseason continues and the draft is inching closer and closer. So more on that this week. So for Rudy Campos, James Pledger, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.